I'm Maggie from Graze. Welcome to my kitchen and welcome to our basic charcuterie class. Now before we get started, I want to let you know we do have one live participant. I know this is a recorded class, but my cat Charlie, he's a pretty handsome fella, is roaming around here, so don't be alarmed if you hear any meows. When I work for business, I don't work out of the comfort of my own home, out of my own kitchen, of course. So it's really nice to be able to share this space with you guys. I first got started with Graze because I love throwing game nights. I love hosting. And for several years, I would just always serve charcuterie after charcuterie after charcuterie. Until I eventually started a business. Now, if you have looked at my page prior to joining in for class, you'll see that my style is more Graze style, meaning my boards are completely covered. So today, we are gonna go over the basics of charcuterie. I'm gonna share some cool products with you, some cool ways to design, but what I want you guys to know is we are keeping it basic today, and we are also keeping it budget friendly. So I specifically picked affordable items, especially with inflation. The price on everything charcuterie related lately has just been soaring. So I'm going to share with you products that are affordable on a budget basic so that you can take these to your own charcuterie board, whether you're just beginning or whether you do this every weekend to kind of make it your own. So I'm actually really excited. We are using this board, this ocean board. This is my first time ever using it. I've had it for almost a year. So I really wanted to use a new board for this event, so I'm happy to be doing that with you guys, and we are going to dive right in. So the first thing you will see, you're probably like, girl, you should have cleaned up your kitchen first. But I did prep a lot of the things, and I'll walk you through kind of what I did to prep for those. But the very first thing that we are going to put on the charcuterie board is we always want to start with our meat. Now our meat is going to give us a very solid foundation to kind of build upon with all of the other ingredients. Some things that you always want to have on hand are some cutting boards, some knives. You may also have a really cool cheese cutter. I couldn't wait to show you this, and it broke. So typically this would be a really cool gadget as well if you're doing this often and working with a variety of cheeses. So today we're mostly just going to make sure that we have our knives, our cutting boards, and also our kitchen shears handy. So as we talk about meat today, I'm going to show you how to make a salami rose. And the really cool thing about making salami roses is there's a variety of ways to do them. And the different ways you do them, they almost have kind of a different type of flour or different style rose, which is really cool. And then you can kind of, again, find your preference, find your style, and do what you like to do. So keeping in mind that we're doing budget friendly, I didn't buy any crazy specialty meats for these. So if you're making a small charcuterie board, maybe for a date night or a gathering, something that you're really excited about and you're willing to invest a little bit more money in, you can check out your specialty meats. You can do your research on those. But today we just got some variety packs to go over the basics. So you're gonna hear me talk a lot about Aldi today. When we're talking about on a budget, of course, if you live near a Trader Joe's, 10 out of 10 recommend. They have great products for charcuterie as we go along. Aldi has my heart. Lidl is also another good store, but even Walmart. So this is a really great product, Charcuterie Trio. So it has a few different types of salami. And then we also have this pack, and then we have a hard salami that we'll cut into too. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna show you two different ways that we can make a salami rose. So you can make a salami rose by using a variety of things in your home. If you have a wine glass, that is how I first started making salami roses. And you can use any size. My favorite when I'm using the wine glass is actually to use a champagne glass. I like the shape that it makes. But you can use a bigger wine glass, a smaller wine glass. Just know if you go the wine glass route, especially the way that I am showing you, it's a great way to jam pack a lot of meat onto your board. But that being said, a lot of times people underestimate how much salami is in one of these salami roses. So it has its pros and its cons, depending on what you're trying to do with your board and how many people you're serving. So of course I've washed my hands already. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna use Italian dry salami for this. So the salami is already pre-cut. This is the best way to use this. You're gonna take one, these are kind of thick, but this is a really good size to use for it. You're gonna take one, kind of fold it in half over the rim, hold that tight. The tighter you make these, the more salami you're gonna jam pack, and also the tighter is gonna hold it together longer. If you want it to be a little looser, if that's the preference that you like, that's okay. So you're gonna start layering these. I typically go, you'll see I kind of found where the half is in this fold, you're gonna start the next salami. Keep in mind, salami is very greasy typically. So you can wear gloves for this. Again, if I was doing this for business, I would have my gloves on, but it's just us today. And a really good thing you want to do is just as you continue holding these on, I use my thumb on the outside and my two fingers, my index finger and my middle finger, to hold that down tightly until you get the next one on. Once you put the next piece of salami on, you're just gonna move those fingers right over and you're gonna continue building. So you'll see that we've gone all the way around once and now we're starting to overlap. And you'll see that they're starting to pop up, right? So you'll just wanna kind of get control of it. And you can also, you don't just want to press down like right at the rim, you want to press down up here too, because that's going to keep it all together. And you can start kind of using both hands in there. The more salami you get and the more you're trying to hold in, use both hands. And remember, especially if this is your first time making salami roses, or if you try a new method and you just don't like it or not feeling it, it doesn't look the same as you used to make it. Every single flower in the world is different, and every single flower in the world is beautiful. So just like real roses, salami roses are the same. I'm reaching for more salami out of my pack, and you'll see that this is staying put, right? So that means we're doing a really good job holding it in. So if you can see, the inside is getting very thick. So we're running out of room, but I like to keep pressing in until this is full. Again, especially if you're hosting for a large amount of people, all you have to do is put a pair of tongs near this salami rose and you're golden. So you're gonna keep going until there's no hole at all. So just like that. You wanna flip it over, and as you do this, let me grab a cutting board. As you flip this over, you want to continue to use pressure in a different way. So just like we were using pressure on our fingers, put that down on the ground. You kind of want to press down the champagne glass or the wine glass, twist it as you're pulling it off, and we have our salami rose. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the board. This is an absolutely huge salami rose. It is huge. And at the very end of this, I'm gonna show you guys videos of the board without me in it so you guys can see our final product. So don't worry if you can't see that. I'm going to show you one other way to make a salami rose. This one does not require any type of glass, but instead requires some plastic ramekins, also known as Jello shot cups. So if you have some of these are really great for charcuterie, not only in terms of building roses of a different style, but also for using dips, mustards, honey, things like that. So coming back to our pre-sliced salami, you are gonna lay these out and you're gonna overlap them by half. So this is what they look like on the board, overlapping by half. And you can do these the length of your cutting board. What you're then going to do is you're going to take your sharp knife and you are going to slice down the middle of all of these. Keep in mind, some of your salami may be very thick, so just be careful so that you can be precise. I honestly need to sharpen my knives and should have done that before doing this class, but it's okay. You guys are getting the raw behind the scenes. Okay, so now all of my salami is cut in half. Perfect. So what you are now going to do, you'll see this lined out. We are now going to start rolling this from the top to the bottom, or once it's on the counter from the left to the right. So you're gonna roll these. Again, you wanna try to be tight just so it all stays together, but once you get the hang of this, you'll be able to determine how tight you like it and how loose once you feel comfortable doing this. And you're gonna notice this, there's kind of salami pieces everywhere. So this is what we're kind of looking at. You can see the start of a salami rose. On my cutting board, I still have half of my slices. So now you're gonna take these halves and you're just gonna start, again, using both hands here. You're just gonna start building these around the rose to add extra petals. And here you can do it loose, you can do it tight, you can really start building your rose, whatever you want it to look like. And try not to get frustrated, it's gonna fall apart as you're doing this, for sure. Once you get it to be about a good size, it's not finished yet, but you can go ahead and place it in your plastic ramekin. So this is what it looks like right now. So now you can do a few things. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna work on the inside of this rose. So my hands are so slimy. I'm taking another one of these half moon salamis, and this one I am going to roll up very tightly. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And because of the size in here, use your best judgment. I'm gonna take one more and wrap it on here. And this one I did a little looser. And I'm going to stick this right inside of the middle. And so we really start seeing our rose come to life. So it's not finished, but this is what it looks like right now. And now what you wanna do is you wanna do this, whatever you wanna call this. So you wanna get in here and start kind of fluffing some of the petals until you like it. And again, based on how much salami you've used, based on what kind of rose you like, you may decide you wanna put more pieces on the outside. So I'm gonna add another exterior petal right on the outside there. I actually need another one on the inside. So I'm gonna stick that in there. Not tight enough. And so, there's my cat. He's saying hi to y'all. He's a handsome tuxedo cat named Charlie. I don't know if y'all are cat people. I never was until him. But now we have our rose. So this is another way to do it. And you can also use, especially when you're doing the little ramekin tip or trick, you can use all sorts of things. I like to make these using dried mangoes, make beautiful flowers, because the dried mangoes are, you want the dried, not the dehydrated. But they're usually, some are thin, some are thick, so a lot of texture comes to life with your rose. Really beautiful. And you can also use like provolone cheese, I mean any slice of cheese, to make these. So I am going to set this rose aside. We're only going to use our large, beautiful one here for this. Last thing I want to show you is our dry salami, our hard one. This we are just going to slice, but first I'm going to wash my hands because I'm not even going to be able to open it. And again, we're not going to, well, we'll open that, disregard. I'm gonna put some of this salami to the side. I'm wearing shorts. I don't know where y'all are watching from. I'm in North Carolina, and let me tell you guys, first of all, I lost my kitchen chairs that I told you guys to have. It's hot. It's hot. It is almost November, and I'm still in shorts. Grew up in the north, so I'm ready for like some fall weather. So I am very grateful for the sunshine. I'd love to hear where you guys are watching from. So after you finish watching, shoot me a message. If you end up using these for a course, tag me, let me know where you're from. You'll see that with this hard salami, I'm just slicing. You can buy hard salami sliced as well. What I like about this is you get to decide how thick you want it. Maybe you want it really thin, maybe you want it thicker. I didn't realize when I started cutting this has the casing on, so watch out for that. Obviously it was easy enough to peel off, but you can do that in the beginning as well. So something else you can do, especially if you're making like a more artesian, individualistic board, you could put like a larger piece of salami on there if it matches your vision. So again, the really cool thing about salami, about charcuterie, is that you can do whatever you want with it. So I'm gonna cut us several slices, and for now, I'll just go ahead and kind of line these up like this. Telling y'all. Some of y'all might have your kids in the background. I don't have kiddos, I just have a Charlie, so it's a trade-off for sure. Now, as I start building this board, you're gonna see that I'm gonna rearrange things. I do that every single board that I make, and it's absolutely okay, because as you're building it, you're gonna find things you do and don't like. Lastly, I will just show you some fun ways to fold this. So what I'm specifically going to show you is, what did you think about it? We are not playing with prosciutto today. To be honest, I don't love the salty meats. But here you can see some hot coppa. So thin little slices. They're still pretty sturdy even though they're thin. You can do a few things with these. You can roll them and create little rolls. Or you can take them and fold them in half again, and they make fun little shapes, and you can stack them. So I am going to set these aside for now until we work with some of our other items, and then we'll start building this board a little better. So after we get our meat situated, the next thing that we want to add to our board is our cheese. And now when talking about meat and cheese, a lot of times I get asked, well, how much meat, how much cheese should I put on these? If you want the catering amounts, the professional recommended amount of meat per board is 2 to 3 ounces of meat per person that you're serving. For cheese that we're moving into, it's 1 to 2 ounces recommended per person. When I'm doing my orders for business, I stick with that. When I'm just doing things personally, I don't. Because again, I sound like a broken record, but you get to make your board whatever you want it to be with whatever ingredients you want it to be. And sometimes that can be a lot. And like I said, with costs going up, maybe meat is something you want to save your money on, but you really love cheese, or maybe you want to make an all cheese board with veggies and fruits and chocolate and stuff. So you really have a lot of flexibility. I have a variety of cheeses for us. And you'll see that I prepped most of them. So when you're working with cheeses, you really want to make sure that you have a variety of soft, creamy cheese, and that you also have hard cheese. So one of the best soft cheeses, especially spread this on a cracker, it is so good, is just porcelain. So a basic block of cheese. I also have a block of blue cheese. Blue cheese you can buy in the wedge in these triangles. So that's really nice because you can plop it right on the board, or you can cut it into a smaller slice. Manchego. is another great, this is one of my favorite cheeses. This is a hard cheese. Most times it's going to also come in a wedge, and you can just cut that in little triangles by taking your knife and starting at the front and going to the back. So just getting these really nice triangles. And then brie. So some people love brie, some people only like brie once it's baked. I can go either way. Brie is brie and I love it. So you can get a round of brie, cut it in half, and then you can break those wedges into smaller ones. So I already have our wedges prepped for us today. And then I'm gonna show you something that, again, if you've already looked at my page, you're gonna see this is on every single board. It's a really simple way to just add a little bit of edge, a little bit of design to your board with a super simple cheese. So I love, Cracker Barrel makes them, mine are from Aldi, but just Cracker Cuts. So these are the already cut squares of cheese. You can't go wrong with these. And some of you may already keep these in your house. So if you already have them, this is a fun way to add them to your charcuterie board without having to run out and think about, oh my gosh, what cheese am I gonna put on there? So I take a chunk of these, keep them in the square, and what I am gonna do is I am going to cut them in half diagonally, making triangles. What you'll then do is, what I like to do is I like to kind of stagger them almost back and forth. So I typically use two little different levels. You can do 3, you can do more. But again, if you look at my page, you're gonna see this is like the signature way. This is also a really safe way to just add a typical cheese. This is sharp white cheddar. So this is a cheese that honestly I think is underrated. I think it's a delicious cheese. So even if you can spice up a board with this, you can keep it simple. If you have kiddos around, they're gonna love this cheese. So really great way to stay within budget. So you'll just do this a few times, and then this is what the cheese looks like. So what I'm gonna start doing at this point, I don't think I wanna start building our board yet until everything's prepared and we walk through everything, and then we'll kind of build all at once so we see what looks good together. The last cheese I wanna show you, I also don't know that we're gonna use all of our ingredients today, but I just wanted to walk you through options. So the last cheese that you'll see is one of my favorites. It is blueberry vanilla goat cheese. You can buy this even at the grocery store, you can buy this at Walmart, but again, I'm an Aldi girl, but this is the Aldi brand, and the Aldi brand of blueberry vanilla goat is truly superior. It is absolutely delicious. When you're cutting goat cheese, especially this one that's fruited on the exterior, another very popular, it looks almost exactly like this but red, is a cranberry cinnamon goat cheese. I really recommend cutting those as soon as you get them out of the fridge. So if you're working on other things, keep that in the fridge, get it out when you're done, cut it. I also put this, as I was prepping, I put it back in the fridge until I was ready to start this class, because it's a very fragile cheese. A lot of these are soft, but goat cheese, especially with the fruits, really you want to keep that cold. So, like I said, we're gonna come back to building our board all together. But next, after you have your meat, 2 to 3 ounces per person if you wanna go with the recommended route. Then we wanna do the cheese, 1 to 2 ounces per person if you wanna stick with that. If not, do your thing. Next is the accoutrements. So this is a fancy way of getting some crunch, getting some texture onto your plate. So we can do that with a variety of crackers. You can also use fresh peppers for that bit of a crunch, some fresh herbs. I like to add my herbs at the very end for some filler. But I do just want to share with you guys, this is, again, crackers, so simple, but you have just so much flexibility to be creative. So some of my favorites are these wafers. They just look really nice. So it's a nice way to add design to the board. Any type of wafer or cracker with like a fancy edging. especially if I'm hosting a party and I'm doing a larger spread. I love getting a baguette in the oven, cutting it fresh and putting it on the board. We're not gonna do that today, but a really nice option, if you don't want to go the fresh baguette route, is you can buy some little toasted crostinis already. So I love these. Of course, these are a bit more crunchy than the baguette, but a delicious way to get some of that soft cheese on there. Delicious. And then the absolute most foolproof way that you can go about getting texture onto your plate when you're shopping, grab this. Grab the assorted crackers. This will be your best friend. You're gonna be surprised, but this is from Aldi. But I will take this box of crackers over any other grocery store, any other brands, any day, because the variety of crackers, you'll see that these are broken, which sometimes happens. But the variety of crackers is just wonderful. So we have these really artesian, nice looking crackers. I love these because they add some color to the plate. And it's just so convenient to buy one pack of crackers. They're like $4. And then that's it. You don't have to buy all of the other products. You don't have to go buy bread. You just have so much variety inside of here. So again, we'll come back to that. I just stepped on a grape, I think. Did you guys hear that? I'm out here making wine in this video, doing some grape stomping. Yeah, I stomped some grapes. After you do your textures, you want to get some acid on the plate. So my favorite way to do that is pickles. I'm a pickle person, love pickles. But you can also do olives. You can do an assortment. This is a great way to use those specialty items. For this video, I'm just using some sweet gherkins to keep it simple, to keep it budget friendly. But I love pickles. If I go to a farmer's market, I'm getting the pickles. If I go to a specialty store, I'm checking out the pickles. So it's a really, really great way. If you like supporting local, grab some of those pickles, get them on your next board. If you go to Sprouts, if you go to World Market, there's always a great type of, maybe it's not even like pickles, but any pickled vegetable, pickled okra, any type of acid you can get on the board. Use those specialty olives, and you can use a variety. And when you're using those acid items, it's really great to put those in a bowl. So look through your kitchen, find what cute little bowls that you have that might look good on the board, and put it on there. Now this might be my favorite part of the board. After all is said and done, at the very end, it's time to get sweet, okay? So this is where we bust out the fresh fruits. This is where we bust out the jams, the honeys, the chocolates. So we have a variety of things today that I'm gonna walk you through. So what I'm going to do at this point is we're gonna go ahead and build our board. So I always like, even though we say save the sweets for last, I think a little tip that I have is to put your grapes on the board first, because the grapes are often a star of the show, okay? And so when you're using your grapes, you really want to look for a great bunch of grapes, and don't be afraid to do that while you're in the grocery store. You know, this is why we wash our produce once we get it home. So don't be afraid to, make sure the grapes that you're buying have a great bunch, and then you're gonna want your kitchen shears. So I'm gonna pull this a little bit closer. Like I said, I'll make sure we have a very close view of this when we are finished. But I like really getting the grapes. I recommend kind of putting them anywhere you want, and you'll see it's falling apart. So kitchen shears are gonna be great with grapes. You're gonna cut off some of these just little like buds and ends where there's no grapes. This is also really long, so we don't need that, right? So Once you have your nice bunch on here, you might still be thinking, man, there's some holes in it. So grab those loose grapes or grab a smaller bunch that you can pick off of. And then also be looking out for, that's a bad grape, I'm not going to use it, right? Because we don't want to serve those to our guests. And you just want to fill in the gaps to make this look fuller. And I'm going to go all over this, okay? And this is a way to really bring that bunch of grapes to life and just make it look a little bit more full. And look at it from different angles too. A lot of times when we're working on charcuterie, we're only seeing it from one side or from the top. Get around, take a break from it. Okay, so for now, I'm going to leave our bunch of grapes just like that. There's one more, but we can always add to that. I actually don't like that. So for now, we're gonna leave our grapes just like that. So, like I said, typically it's a good idea to start with the meat as the foundation, and then we want to work into our cheese, our textures, acids, and then our sweets. But you can do really what you feel is the most important at the start of the show, or what you feel most comfortable with. So we do have our salami rows. We also have some of our salami slices. I am going to go ahead and come back to this, and we'll get some of this on there. Now, when you're working with the processed meats, pull that off, okay? No one wants to see that. So just really taking care of the products that you're using, and remembering that you're, honestly, even if you don't think you're creative, you're not artistic, and it's okay if this doesn't look picture worthy, but you're creating a work of art, so you should really feel proud of what you're making. So you're noticing I'm doing the trick where I did before, taking this, folding it in half, and then in half again. And then I'm just kind of stacking those together to make a little cluster. I'm gonna start putting them right there. For now, again, you have the freedom. Once you put something on your board, you can move it later. Okay, so I like that so far, or you can come back and add to it. Okay, let's get some cheese on here for sure. Okay, so I'm definitely going to pull our little triangles that we made, and I think I'm gonna put them right there. I think that's a great spot for them. I am going to take our blue cheese. I think that's a really great spot to showcase that blue cheese. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it here. Okay. Again, see, you're gonna see me moving things all day, and that's okay. I do want to show you guys, in case you're not familiar with Boursin cheese, this is just so creamy and so flavorful. This is shallot and chive. I just saw that they have, this might not be new, but it's new to me, I haven't seen it, is a caramelized onion one. Oh my gosh. And then these are new. Boursin just put out bites. So it's this same recipe of cheese, but they're in little tiny bites. So you could put those on skewers. They are very, very soft, so I wouldn't recommend just putting them on a bowl. They're gonna kind of meld together. But also, even outside of charcuterie, those can be great for throwing in vegetables, throwing in a recipe, and just adding so much flavor and creaminess. So your Boursin cheese is going to look like this. Woo. It's a circle. You can literally put this right on your board, or you can cut a small section out of that. I think for now we're gonna hold off on putting it on the board. But it's a really great cheese, so I wanted to share it with you. And next we're gonna use our manchego triangles. I know some places you can actually buy these pre-sliced. The cool thing about that is that they're all the same width. They're all the same size, which is just fantastic. I actually don't know where I wanna put these. So I think we're gonna, for now, hold off on that. And then we're gonna take some of our blueberry vanilla goat. Again, we're gonna be really careful with this. And I'm gonna put it back behind here. You guys probably can't see until I show you. But we're gonna put it right back here. Like I said, stuff's gonna fall, especially these loose grapes. It's okay, because you can always fix things. I'm taking a few slices of this delicious blueberry goat, and I'm just kind of lining it up back here. And I think I'm gonna do one more. I have my customers tell me that this is their favorite cheese. Like, they're constantly asking for it, they're constantly loving it. And I will tell you, one time I used an off-brand, I'm telling you, this Aldi brand is delicious. One time I used a brand that was not Aldi because it was not accessible for a repeat customer. She was like, what happened to the cheese? So I'm telling you, it's good stuff. For now, we're gonna walk away from the cheese. Let's get some crackers on here because this is filling up quite quickly and we don't have any crunch on there. I feel like there goes a cracker on the floor. I definitely want to use these because I told you guys all about them. So grabbing a few of these, and I think we're gonna put these, where do we want to put these, guys? Put these here. And a lot of times with light crackers, I'm actually gonna turn this board. This will help you guys to see a new view too, and kind of see where I want to start putting some things. This is a really good view right here. I'm liking what I see. Okay, so these crackers will lay right here. So it's always fun to talk about charcuterie while I'm doing it, because a lot of times we don't realize what's helpful and what we want to share with others until we're in the middle of it. So turn the board around as much as you need to, see things from a different perspective. I think I'm also going to, like I said, I love these crackers. I just think they're so beautiful for a board. So we'll get some of these on here, and you'll really just see that I am staggering these as well. So they don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a staggered pattern. Just get them on the board however you think they look appealing. I wish you guys were here with me because I would ask you guys if you've ever had chicken and a biscuit crackers. Those were like the snack growing up. Perfect. So we have some crackers on there. And now I recommend you kind of want to keep the board. It doesn't have to be, but it evens. So I have kind of 2 crunches up here. I want to get some more crunch down here. I've done some crackers. I think I'm going to lean for these crostinis. And for now, I turn the board again. I can't wait for you guys to see this up close. These crostinis, these specifically, have little grill marks on them, which I just think is so cute. Again, just those tiny little details on here are just incredible. Your guests are gonna love them. I also think we eat with our eyes a lot too, so like those grill marks mean everything. These are a little harder to work with. They're kind of finicky. But we're gonna get there. Okay, for now that's okay. All right. So we're gonna move into, we might come back to some of this stuff. I'm gonna get it out of our way for now. And of course, for this course, I over-purchased, right? Because I knew not everything was gonna go on the board, but I at least wanted to walk you through some options. But what I really recommend, if you are, whether it's for a date night, just yourself, like I love a good celebrate yourself night, make a charcuterie board. Whatever you're purchasing for, I really like to recommend, number one, trying things you know will get eaten in your house, but also things that you might want to enjoy even outside of the charcuterie board, so that if you do go over and you buy a little too much, you can just throw it in your pantry and you know it's not going to go to waste, because we love that. All right, so for our sweets, we have fresh fruits. I have already washed these. Are y'all washing your fruits? Please make sure you are. washing your fresh fruits, especially if you're purchasing them at the grocery store. So a really great way to buy fresh fruits, or excuse me, to clean fresh fruits is just simple, soak them in water and about a tablespoon of white vinegar. If you don't have white vinegar, you can use apple cider vinegar, but I prefer white vinegar. Let them soak, and then I put them in a colander. Of course, drain them, rinse them off, and then lay them out flat to dry. And then if you've never done this before, look at that water, and you're gonna do it every time. So I've washed and dried my vegetables, my fruits. I have blueberries, strawberries, red raspberries, and blackberries. But we're gonna look at sweets as a whole. I also have honey. So this is one of these specialty items. This is from Bee Charmer in Asheville, North Carolina. And this is a cute little jar, right? So a lot of times with these specialty items, whether it's honey, jam, you name it, something sweet, or even a cheese, if it comes in something cute like this, you could just put it on the board like this. You might think, that's kind of silly. Nope, let that be the star of the show. Today I'm keeping this just like this, and you can even lay it down to make it look cool, right? I actually love that, so we're gonna keep it right there. And then with honey, I have these cute little wooden honey stirrers. I'll probably put that on at the end, but it just makes a difference. My customers love these. If you're making a lot of charcuterie at home, these are disposable, right? So you can purchase really beautiful honey stirrers if that's something you want to do as well. So fruits, honeys. We also have a jam. I put this in a jar already. It's a pear cinnamon jam. I don't know if we're gonna use it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And then also, some sweets are chocolates. So I have some chocolate that we can just open and put it without any kind of wrapper right on the board. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I do want to tell you, be mindful of where you're placing it, especially if your board is going to be around, kind of out for a while. A lot of times, especially if you have chocolate near your meat, you might eat a piece of meat later and it's going to taste like chocolate. And even if you like chocolate, you might not be expecting that, right? So just be mindful if you're using raw chocolate, I shouldn't say raw, chocolate without a label, kind of where you're putting it on your board. But sometimes it's too cute to pass up. So you can also put like some wrapped truffles on your board as well. So I'm gonna start to fill this in a little bit. And this is why I like saving the fruits. I mean, the sweets are last too, but they are such good fillers. Like I said, my personal style is kind of a Graze board, right? So there's not a lot of space to it. A lot of charcuterie, especially if you're doing like more artisan, like true charcuterie, it's gonna look a little bit different. You're gonna have more space. You're using specialty cheeses, specialty meats, because it's a more special event. But I really like this. So I don't know if I want to keep this here because it's kind of overpowering the cheese. You don't want to do that. I might do this. Like I said, don't be afraid. As I move things around, I'm moving everything around, okay? So I just moved a bowl. That means I'm gonna move the meat to kind of cater to that. And I'm moving these crostinis. I wish y'all could come eat this with me. That's for sure. Okay, these crostinis, we're gonna come back to those. We're gonna put some more crackers on here. So again, even though I gave the layout of kind of, this is where you want to start, it's at least where you want to start your planning, okay? You can always circle back to your board and do things in a different order. Beautiful. Okay, we haven't put any strawberries. Typically, I slice my strawberries. It really just depends. I miss strawberry season, I'll tell you that. Because lately buying strawberries has been challenging. They're not always pretty. And so I'm gonna keep them whole today. It's whatever vibe you're feeling. falling overboard. Okay, so some strawberries. We will put some more blackberries over here. So you're really just doing whatever feels right, whatever looks good, and starting to fill up this space. A lot of times I was going to start this class by doing like do's and don'ts of charcuterie, but I truthfully don't even think there's like a wrong way of doing charcuterie if you're happy with what you're doing. I know that sounds cheesy, but I'm cheesy. I'm a cheesy gal. Don't turn this off. That was my sneaker. Again, I'm stomping grapes over here. These crostinis are giving me a hard time because they're just perfect. Okay, and you can reevaluate kind of what you need, what you want more of. I'm kind of thinking more cheese. I have some hard cheese, some blue cheese. I have the dessert cheese, but I think I really might come back to this Borson and get that on here. So I'm actually gonna move some of these berries. I probably shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. Okay, I like that a lot. All right, so we have a lot of blackberries there. We're gonna put more strawberries in here. Perfect. And don't be afraid to, again, rearrange your fruits because as you put them on, you may realize, hey, this berry looks a lot better than this one. Perfect. Some blueberries are really good fillers. Again, if you look at my page, you're gonna see that I like filling space with blueberries. I just think it changes things up. Don't be afraid to stick some blueberries down in the grapes and just in those small little holes, blueberries. And then just make sure you have your little broom handy for when you're finished. Perfect. I can't wait for you guys to see this. I still have a little space, so figuring out what to put here. I'm gonna put some red raspberries. Beautiful. Y'all are beautiful. I hope you guys are having a great year. I think it's an absolute honor to be part of the Milso box because just being able to support and lift up our community is so important. Perfect. Okay. Let's see what else we can add. If we want to add anything different before we move on. Oh, I forgot about our manchego. So I am going to come back over in here. We did not, I skipped on this earlier. So this is, I'm loving it. Ba 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 ba. Don't turn me off. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Oh, I can't wait for y'all to see this. I hope you like it. Put some blueberries in here. Again, if you guys do steal this little, using the blueberries to fill in the whole thing, I hope you think of me because I will say, I think I do it quite often, a lot more than maybe some others. But it's beautiful. And now what we can do is get some chocolate on here. So first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and now place my honey dipper right here. It's such a nice touch. And I think I'm gonna, let me see. And if you're using this raw chocolate, of course, chocolate's made in squares. You can literally cut it up into chunks or like shards of chocolate. I think that adds a nice little like edge to it. So you can do whatever your heart desires. I am today going to use some squares and put it on here like so. And again, I'm just kind of staggering those pieces of chocolate. I'm gonna come back here and use some more berries to just fill in some of this space. You might be thinking, wow, you're kind of going overkill on the fruits. In my experience, personally and professionally, a lot of folks grab these fruits. There's hardly ever fruits left on the board. So you might be thinking it's overkill, and it might be for you. If you don't like it, don't do it. Again, this is all about finding what you like, y'all. Beautiful. I just want you to know. Y'all are getting charcuterie and karaoke. Okay. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Okay. All right, guys. We have a little bit of space. Again, I fill up every space. If any of y'all are at Fort Bragg, you'll have to holler at me. Maybe we can have a little charcuterie get together in person. So this is wonderful. My space is filled. I have an equal balance of well, maybe not equal, but in my happiness, equal balance of meat, cheese, crunch, and texture. We have our sweets and a variety of them between the jams, the honey. I love this board. Just some final things. You don't have to do this, but you can start a little collection of like cheese spoons and things like that. These are my favorite. I actually just got these as a gift from a very special friend, but they say spread the joy, and I'm all about that. And these are going to be so helpful with this block of Borson. So you can lay that right on the board as well. All right, y'all, I am ready to show this to you. So let's see. All right, y'all, this is our charcuterie board. This is what we were able to create. It took us about an hour with some prep time not included, because I did prep some things ahead of time, but she's looking really beautiful. And I am going to post pictures after you guys receive your boxes. I'm gonna post some pictures. I just love that blue cheese chunk with the honey. I'm going to post some photos of the board itself. So feel free to check out those still photos too. All right, y'all, that about wraps it up. We made this beautiful board together. And again, I just wish that you were here to dig into this with me. Thank you so much for participating in this class, for coming, for listening. I truly hope you gained a little something, even if it just sparked some creativity to go do anything that makes you feel good, that lets you kind of be yourself. So enjoy.